So, is spending 65 to 70,000 euros worth it to stand on the top of Everest for maybe 10 minutes? Yeah, it is. To me. Climbing Mount Everest in 2026 will cost me somewhere between 65 to 70,000 euro. And that's before I even stand at base camp. People ask all the time, how much does climbing Everest actually cost? Is it 30,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 200,000? How much does it take to stand on the top of the world? So in this video, I'm going to break down the actual costs, not only in terms of getting there, being on the mountain, but the equipment, and also some of the hidden costs that go into something like this. My total, and the reason I use a range of 65 to 70,000 for Everest, is because I haven't paid everything just yet. This day, 5 weeks, we will be in Nepal starting our trek to base camp. However, there's still a few different things I need to buy for the climb. One of the biggest costs, and I have my final payment coming up, is the expedition fee. As I've shared in the previous video, I'm going with a team led by Jason Black Mountaineering, and the fee alone for that was 55,000 euro. Included in that is a lot though. The majority of the costs and logistics, the bottled oxygen we'll use on the mountains, the tents we'll use, it even includes some duffel bags and a down suit we'll be using for our climb as well. Quite often for tourists, and that's ultimately how I'm going to have to describe myself here, I do have mountain experience, but in 8,000 meter peaks, I'm a tourist. Those fees and the guiding company fees are often ranging from anywhere as low as 30,000 up to figures for private tours of 100 to 200,000 and above. Whilst a lot of those will include luxuries, that's not why I'm climbing Everest. My fee, as I said, does include some of the key items, but it doesn't include hotels, insurance, my flights out to Nepal, among other things. The other thing it doesn't include, which many people are probably surprised to hear, are summit bonuses. So summit bonuses are paid out directly to the Sherpas from the climbers, and despite how the name suggests, doesn't require you to stand on the summit. The summit bonus is paid for your Sherpa to have you in a position to be able to the summit. What you do after that depends on you. But those fees as well are additional and bonuses to the porters and kitchen staff, and I'll probably do a recap video after I summit Everest. But those fees can be an extra couple of thousand as well on top. Summit bonuses alone from around a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand and above. 4 to 5 figures for these people, which, I'll be honest, quite often are the reason you stay alive on a big mountain like this. Now, one of the big costs in these guided expeditions are also the permits. We've seen the fee alone in Nepal go from 11,000 up to 15,000. And again, that's before oxygen, before logistics, before anything else. Years ago, you could climb Everest for a much lower fee. This isn't a mountain I want to skimp and try and save my money on. That era of cheaper climbs, and it's a good thing, have gone. Regulation has increased, environmental controls have increased, roof fixing teams, ultimately a lot of different costs have continued to increase, and from 2027 onwards, with the requirement to climb a 7,000 meter mountain in Nepal also being a prerequisite, the total package to climb Everest is going to continue to increase. Now, two of the other items are also the flights that you need to get. I'm in beautiful Switzerland. It's a rare sunny day out there, but getting from here to Nepal isn't cheap. Our flights alone have been around 600 to 700, and that's one way. We haven't booked the return flight as of yet because we're not sure when we'll be back off the mountain. Between that and also our health insurance or travel insurance alone, which was another $900 through the only operator it seems available for high expeditions, Global Rescue, is yet another fee on top of it. One of the big things that also drives a lot of that range is gear. The boots alone you see beside me usually run people around $1,200. I managed to get mine for half price at around $600 last year, and I knew I had to buy it. But again, these are the things that add up. The crampons that I wear with the boots, $100. The down mittens I'll wear, another couple of hundred. The leather gloves I'll wear, $100. Thankfully, the down suit we'll be using is included in our climb, and also a lot of these things I've picked up over the years as well. But you start to see that it isn't just the expedition fee that's paid, but everything else that goes into making this a safe but enjoyable climb. Enjoyable is open to interpretation to any, but allowing or having these bits of gear allow a dream like this to be possible. There's also, when you consider what gets you to Everest or what should get you to Everest, is the training required. There's a training cost that needs to be included here as well. I live in Switzerland and it's beautiful, but it's not cheap and it's definitely not free. We don't own a car in Switzerland, so all of the climbs and hikes you've seen of me on the weekend and getting up at 3 a.m., that's me renting a car. It's me buying the food for the day because quite often we're not running into a restaurant on these climbs as well. The car rental, 100 francs every weekend. The food, another 40 to 50. The supplements, the gym membership I pay, the altitude tent, I'm sure has been seen in the videos. That alone was another 1,600 for 2 months of a rental. But these are all things that are key to ensuring that you turn up in as good a position as possible. What happens out there, no one knows until we're there. But a big part of the scrutiny over the last year is are people turning up to Everest that really shouldn't be there. I'm making sure that I've done everything I physically can to ensure that if the time arises and I can summit, I'm ready and that I will summit. That I've put myself in as good a position as possible to make this a reality. So of course there are financial costs, but there are hidden costs as well. Now, of course, one of the biggest questions that comes out of paying for a climb like this is why, but also how. How have I paid for this? And I'll be honest, for a lot of people, the process is through sponsors. I have reached out to hundreds of sponsors, and unfortunately, nothing has come through fruition. And that's okay. It's part of it, it's to be expected, and ultimately, whilst I did have the vision that I would be, maybe have identified 1 or 2 sponsors along the way, I was also willing and fortunately able to fund this all myself. Ultimately, brands have to align with their objectives, and maybe on this occasion I just haven't been the right fit. For anyone that has been following this journey knows I was thankfully able to secure a charity partner, the ISPCC, an Irish Protection for Children's Society in Ireland. Why? Climbing Everest is definitely a personal objective, but I didn't want it to be just about me. The ISPCC aims to support those children who didn't get to choose their start, but still wanted to define their future. That's one of the key objectives of my climb. Setting out to summit mountains like Everest, living in Switzerland, being in a great role in a pharmaceutical company maybe wasn't the path that was initially set out for me, but it is the one I thankfully have been able to land on now. And that's one of the messages I wanted to share through this journey, that your start doesn't have to dictate your future. And anything I can do to help and further support the incredible work that charity has and will continue to do, I will happily do day in and day out after this point. Of course, for anyone that would still like to support that journey, my journey, the work ISPCC are doing, please feel free to follow any of the links in the videos or previous videos I've done in the past. Climbing Everest won't change the world, but maybe it can change one person's world or their outlook on the world. And if one of the ideas in the past is to leave a place better than you found it, and if that can help inspire anyone to follow their own journey, I'm happy to do it. So, is spending 65 to 70,000 euros worth it to stand on the top of Everest for maybe 10 minutes? Yeah, it is. To me, at least. Because one day I want to look back and be able to think I didn't shy away from what was my dream, from what I've told everyone is my one goal, the top item on my bucket list. I'm sure, although unlikely, that there will be times during the climb, whether I'm on the summit or sitting in camp thinking, maybe I could have spent my money better. Maybe I could have saved elsewhere. Is Everest really what I wanted to spend this 70,000 on? Maybe. But for now, I'm happy, I'm excited to know I've done everything I can do or could do to make this dream and goal of mine a reality. It's about being true to what I wanted to do and showing what is possible when the determination meets the ambition of such a big goal. But again, thank you for everyone that's followed this journey, that has supported it, and I look forward to putting all of this money to good work. Thanks. So I realized during this video that I talk a lot about the cost and not exactly how I've been able to cover that cost. As I touched on, a big part and a big idea at the start of this project was really around trying to find potential sponsors to work with towards this big goal. And look, unfortunately on this occasion, it hasn't quite worked out. I knew going into this how much Everest would cost, from the 30s to 50s, 70s, 100,000 and above. I knew what it was going to take, and with that, over the last few years, my savings and work have all been, in most part, building towards this. I've put all of the money I can into making this a possibility, in addition to the support I've received through the GoFundMe, which honestly, I'm really, really grateful for. That extra money that'll go to not only the climb, but also supporting the ISPCC, and from the people that have donated through that means, I'm thankful. A lot of this wouldn't be possible without only the financial support, but other supports you get from people. But again, when it comes to paying the 50, 60, 70,000, I've paid it. And I've paid it, I'll say, happily. This is what it takes to go after a big goal, a big dream like this, and it's my dream. And so I'm trying to make this possible and have made it possible.